Blackmagic camera app. Let me adjust this a little bit. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Surprise! Guess who's back? It's me, Ted. I'm back with another video that a couple people in real life were asking for. I was checking when I made the last video on this channel, and it's been,
Nani?
It's been over 3 years since I made a video on this channel. So, I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy having me back, and I hope you're looking forward to more cooking content this year. Welcome back to Cooking with Ted. I should change the title. If you have an idea for a new title for this channel, comment it below. Let's hear from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by no one. Look, I get it. You know, I live in 2025. I know that we're all seeing a lot of commercials. You're seeing ads all the time in every single thing that you look at, and I don't want to contribute to that noise. So I'm making a statement now that I will not be doing any sponsorships within these videos. Now, I can't help with what YouTube does. YouTube will show a bunch of ads. This channel is not even monetized, okay? This is purely for fun, purely for me, and purely for we. Today's video, we're making a macaroni and cheese that has beer in it. All the boys are like, hell yeah, dog. Crush that beer. The mac and crush mac and cheese. This recipe does not belong to me. This is a recipe I saw on TikTok. I'm going to give a shout out to that user right here. She has a huge following. Her name's Hailee Catalano. Probably misremembering that name, but I'll fix it in post. Hey folks, Ted here. Editing this video. It is January 19th, and TikTok has actually shut down in the United States. So maybe that'll change by the time I'm editing this video, but I just want to say that you can find Hailee Catalano, whose name I got right, by the way, so good job, past me. You can find Hailee Catalano on YouTube and other platforms. This is a recipe that I made for Thanksgiving, I made it for Christmas, and I made it again in the new year because it's just that good. So let's dive in. Let's talk about what we used. Hey guys, Ted here again from the editing room. Turns out TikTok is back about 2 hours later after I recorded that last spiel. So you can find Hailee on TikTok for now. Maybe it'll go away again. Maybe it'll stay. What a weird time we live in. Anyway, back to the video. Bye. I'm gonna burp. I started off with some garlic and some shallots. I gave them a quick chop, as you'll see here, or here. And just for good measure, I gave them each a little kiss, just to make sure that they knew they were valued, because that's really all anybody wants. Cool. I also set out all the things that I would need and got them prepped. So I believe in French they call that the mise en place. Basically that means, hey, you're going to take everything that you need for this recipe and prep it. So I chopped the garlic, chopped the shallots. I had some chipotle peppers that we'll use later, foreshadowing. And then I took the sharp cheddar cheese. Cabot is a great brand. Love Cabot cheese, based out of Vermont. Shout out Vermont. Vermont rules. Grated up the Cabot on the big holes on the box grater, and then I grated up the Gruyere cheese as well. I like a combination of cheddar and Gruyere. One other fun thing about macaroni and cheese is that you can actually use leftover cheese if you have some. When I made this for Christmas, my family had some Havarti, so I put some Havarti in there. It was nice. It was a little Havarti party. Look, I know that wasn't like my best, okay? Let's hear from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by, still no one. Here's a little fun thing. You can see the brand of the cheese on the Gruyere tab that I'm holding up here. It's pretty cool. So we have everything prepped. Let's talk about the next steps. I put my big ass on the stove. Put my big honking ass on the stove. And then I farted, and then the stove popped off. Oh my God. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Folks, it's my first video in a while, okay? And I'm going to be doing some asides like this when I feel self-conscious. So I took about a stick of butter. I think it's about 6 tablespoons. Cut them into pieces. Threw it in the pot. Threw it in the big cast iron. That's the thing I was trying to say. Took my big cast iron, put the butter in there, and then I added the garlic and shallots and cooked that. It's gonna smell so nice. Then you're gonna add the flour, and I added about a 1/4 cup of flour. Probably should have added a little more flour because essentially what we're making is a roux. Sometimes I add too much flour when I make stuff, and it becomes more of a paste, and it doesn't really have a lot of viscosity. So in this case, I actually added less flour, and I think it worked out great in the final product. So I added the flour, stirred it up, and I talked about this before, so I don't need to go down on this. And then after about a couple minutes, I added a can of the only beer I had in the fridge, which was this non-alcoholic Kolsch beer that my partner bought for a party we were hosting. We thought some of our friends who don't drink were going to come, and then they didn't. And so then we had 6 cans of non-alcoholic beer. That was good. You know, I mean, no judgment. If you don't drink, that's great. I didn't drink for a very long time. I drink now, but I get it, you know. The older I get, the more I think maybe I shouldn't drink so much. This is what I was talking about when I say we're going to talk about more than just cooking. We're going to talk about a lot of things, specifically when it comes to our society and our culture. Hi, how you doing? Did you miss me down here? I took the beer, I gave it a sip, and it was good. It tasted very much like beer-flavored seltzer. The branding on the can was pretty dense. I feel like there's this thing with branding now that's like, hey, you're cool because you bought this product, and I'm going to put a whole bunch of different labels on the side of it, and that means that anybody who's reading the side of this can will identify with this, because apparently that's all whoever's marketing this stuff thinks people can attach themselves to. Like, I see this one label, and that's me. I identify this part as me as a human being, when it's really, at the end of the day, we're all just being manipulated. I'm on a tangent here. I tasted the beer. It was okay. And then you add about a can of beer to the roux once it's simmering. This is not how this is intended to be held. It's just a Blue Yeti. But I kind of like it. It's like, gives me a little... I also added about 2 cups of milk. I have a pint of whole milk that I added, and you're just going to add both of those things, stir it up. It's going to fizz up a bunch, and then basically just stir until it starts simmering. Now, in the original TikTok, which maybe I'll just find and post at the beginning of this video, or I'll just share a link to it, Hailee mentions to let the RuPaul? La Roux. That's the music band. This is the part where... This is the part where I start something else and something around me. Can you get copyright stricken when you sing a song that's not in the public domain? Asking for a friend. Let me know in the comments down below. So I added the milk, let it simmer for about 20 minutes. While this is happening, this is a great time to boil the water for your pasta. And you better believe I started boiling the water first. I didn't. But if you're going to make this recipe, if you're going to follow along with me, which, bless you. Bless you. What, did you sneeze? No. If you're going to follow along with this recipe, I'm going to put my hand in front of my face while I'm talking. If you're going to follow along with this recipe, make sure to start boiling the water first. Boiling the water first. And here's a little pro tip. You can put a lid on top of that pot, and it'll heat up faster. Heat on. Water starts to boil. Takes a while, obviously. You want to salt your water. I threw about this much salt. It really... This is something that I think is so necessary, but it is very alarming when you put about half a cup of salt into a boiling pot of water. What you want is you want the pasta water to be seasoned, is make sure that it tastes like the same salinity as the ocean. So if you're used to swimming in the ocean, you know it's pretty salty. That sea, that ocean water is pretty salty. You want it to be about that salinity. And you may think that's too salty. And let me tell you something else, dear viewer. You can overdo it. So make sure you taste your water. Don't just put a half a cup of salt in. I think I put a quarter cup of salt in. I could have put some more in there, but it's going to be alarming. But I promise you, if you taste the water, if it tastes like the ocean, if you've never been to the ocean, disregard, just throw in about a quarter cup. If you don't know what the salt level of the ocean tastes like, apologies. You can add salt. You can skip it. If you are salt sensitive, don't add that much salt because cheese has a lot of salt in it, and you're probably going to throw some salt in the sauce and everything. Anyway, I've been talking about salt for too long. Maybe it's because somebody, ya boy, has high blood pressure. Bam, 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 bam. My brother, who's like one of the 3 people who watches these videos, shout out to Oliver. He and his wife had an espresso machine, and then they had a baby. And turns out you need a lot of counter space when you have a baby, and your babies aren't drinking pour-over Americano cappuccinos, baby chinos. So he gifted us his old espresso machine, and I just made an Americano, and ya boy nailed it. So shout out to Oliver, shout out to Toasted and Roasted for the beans, and shout out to everyone who's watching who's believed in me. Thank you. Thank you. It is 4 o'clock. I should not be drinking this coffee. I want to be zooming. Okay, so while the water is boiling and your pasta is cooking, what I did next is I took some pretzel bites and I crushed them up with some panko breadcrumbs and a bunch of salt. Nope, no salt. I added pepper, a little dash of salt. Did I add salt? Hey, do you think that I added salt? Place your votes now and we'll find out in 10 seconds. And by salt, I mean salt to the crumb top. I didn't add any salt. That white grinder, you might think, okay, I did add salt, but you fell right into my trap. It's not salt, it's pepper. I bought the wrong grinder that was black at a store a while ago, and that's for salt. The big black grinder is for salt, and it's been sitting empty on my counter for years. And the white grinder that I thought was the same size when I bought it separately is for pepper. And I remember thinking, how quaint. I'm going to be so contrarian with a white grinder for pepper and a black grinder for salt. But instead, I just ended up using only one of them, and only I can tell the difference. So there you go. I don't know why I felt the need to say that only I can tell the difference, and I apologize for that if you took offense. Okay, added the crushed up pretzels and the panko breadcrumbs. Now the other thing you're gonna do here is you're gonna reserve some cheese because that's gonna go on top of the pasta when it's out, but we'll get to that. Oh, I just knocked the camera. You're gonna put the crumbled up stuff on top of the pasta when it's out, but there's a few things we need to do with our Dutch oven before we continue. I took the pot that was simmering the roux mixture, the roux Paul Charles mixture. Nope. Can you get copyright stricken when you sing a song that's not in the public domain? Asking for a friend. Let me know in the comments down below. LaRue, I took the LaRue pot and put it on a towel on my cutting board. Also, shout out to Oliver for this cutting board. Boy, my brother buys me a lot of nice stuff. Thank you, Oliver. I took the pot and I put it on the tea towel and I added the cheese gradually. You don't want to do this on the heat because it'll cause the cheese to split. You'll get a bit of a grainy texture because heat and cheese don't really like each other. Unless you're making a pizza, maybe we'll make a pizza in a future video. Probably not anytime soon because your boy needs to lose some weight. All right, so you add the cheese, mix it up. I added the chipotle peppers, and I also added about 2 tablespoons of mascarpone cheese and about a tablespoon of mustard. Whenever I add mustard to anything, I always have like the residual mustard on the spoon, and I love it. I love it so much. I don't know what. Maybe there's like some sense memory from France or something, but I love mustard. I'll eat my ketchup with mustard. No. I don't eat my ketchup with mustard. I eat my French fries with mustard. And sometimes with a little ketchup too. I like to mix and match. We're not talking about French fries. Although, shout out to me for oven fries. What? Why am I shouting out a previous video? You can see season 1 from 3 years ago. You can see a lot of stuff has changed. I have a mustache now. Probably heavier. The pasta should be done cooking after about 10 minutes. Add the pasta to the cheese, mix it up. It should be pretty liquidy at this point. I don't think I added enough milk in from my perspective because it was pretty solid by the time it was done. Here's another point where I differ from the original recipe. Hailee says, hey, put this into a casserole dish and then add the topping on top, which I would say definitely do if you're serving this to friends, family, or whomever. Even your mortal enemy. Maybe you're turning over a new leaf in 2025 and you say, you know what, I want to make some bomb-ass mac and cheese for my mortal enemy. And maybe it would turn over a new leaf. And then after you give them that bomb-ass mac and cheese, they eat it all up and they don't even say thank you. And then you say, you know what, actually, this is why we were mortal enemies in the first place. I regret doing this, but I'm glad that I confirmed that we actually aren't compatible and you're actually my mortal enemy. I'm Christian Slater taking an aside on this break to talk to you about what's going on. Christian Slater and Jack Nicholson actually kind of have a similar cadence, don't they? Hey, it's me, Jack Nicholson, and me, Christian Slater. Those are the same impressions, but I just said different names. Hello. I don't care if anyone watches this. I'm making this for me. And that's all that matters. Actually, if you're watching this, I do care. Thank you for watching. And I appreciate you for supporting me by watching my videos. So, apologies for all the pops. You probably got a lot of... I don't pour it into a casserole dish because I don't want to do an extra dish, okay? So instead, I just left it all in the Dutch oven, put the crispy, yummy, crunchy stuff on top, and then generally I was going to put it under my boiler. Then the plan was I was going to put it under my broiler, but oops, it's in too big of a pot, so it's not going to fit under my oven. So this is a mistake. I should have put it into a casserole dish. So instead, I just put it on a ripping hot oven and hope for the best. And the best didn't come because the heating element is at the bottom of our oven, not on the top. Now, some ovens might have the heating element on the top, in which case, totally throw it in a 500-degree oven. You don't need to open up your broiler tray. Just put it on the top rack, and you'll be good to go. But that's not my oven. Speaking of which, I didn't even mention, I have a new oven now. I want to shout out my landlord for replacing our oven when the old one was leaking gas everywhere. So thanks for replacing the oven and not having us live in an apartment where we could die. Appreciate you. I put it in the oven for a while, as you'll see here. Never really got that crispy brown top, but take a look at this anyway because it still turned out great. This recipe, folks, is so good. It's so good. It's such a crowd pleaser. It goes really, really well with some sides. What I did is I baked a sweet potato. I also put some broccoli, some oven roasted broccoli with it. So it's a sweet potato, broccoli, mac and cheese dinner. 3 sides equals 1 entree is what I always say. Or maybe just 2 sides. Sometimes all you need is just a side, a single side dinner. Anyway, that's it. We ate it up. It was delish. Everyone said great job. My family said great job. My partner's family said great job. Everybody raved about the mac and cheese. I did not grow up eating mac and cheese with Thanksgiving. But let me say that when somebody hosted a Friendsgiving, when I first moved to New York, this was almost 20 years ago, they had mac and cheese with the turkey, with the mashed potatoes, with the stuffing, and it broke my brain. I said, how did I never think of this? How did I never think that mac and cheese is an ultimate Thanksgiving side? It's so good. It's so good with Thanksgiving foods. It's so good with no other foods. It's so good with sides. It's a perfect dish. We love mac and cheese. Thank you, mac and cheese, for everything you've done for us. Thank you for watching this video. So, that's it. We made the beer cheese mac and cheese. Thank you to Hailee Catalano'S for this recipe. I'm going to buy your cookbook. I recommend that you also buy her cookbook because if at least 4 other recipes in that cookbook are bangers like this one, buckle up. If you're not in a car, get a belt, buckle it on. If you are in a car, you should buckle up anyway. If you're standing up, you should be sitting down. If you're sitting down, you should stand up. Thanks for watching. today's episode. Be prepared for more episodes. If there's something you'd like to see me make, post it in the comments. If there's something that you are interested in or curious about, let me know in the comments. It could be anything. I really think that there is a tendency, and this has sort of been top of mind lately, for us to put very specific labels on things and be like, oh, you're the person who makes cooking videos on YouTube, or oh, you're the person who makes videos about like movies on YouTube, where I think that's really limiting. And I think it's part of an opportunity that we have to inspire more curiosity. So I'm going to be making videos about whatever I want going forward on this channel. I'll probably change the title at some point. For now, it's just going to be called Cooking with Ted. Maybe it's going to be more of a metaphorical cooking, like, well, what's cooking with Ted? Or Ted, or whatever that kid said. I don't know if you heard that. Maybe you did. Who knows? The bottom line is I have a lot of interest. I have a lot of curiosities. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks so much for checking it out. Thanks for hanging in there. And if you're one of the people who said to me in real life, hey, I really liked your videos, when are you going to make another one? This one's for you. Be prepared for more in 2025. That's it for this video. I will talk to you later. Goodbye. I don't know why. That was a weird outro. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're interested in seeing more, you can subscribe. You can comment below. Or if you're probably somebody I know in real life, so just say, hey, good job on that video, and I will tell you all about it. Tell you what about it? I don't know. Look, thanks for watching. Take it home. I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.